Hello everybody, I'm Sarah and I'm a recorder player. Today's video is on alternative fingerings. Especially if you're not a recorder player, you might be asking yourself, what are alternative fingerings? What does she mean by that? Well, on the recorder, every single note can be played in a myriad of different ways. For example, all the notes can be played with a different set of fingers on the instrument. That's one of the reasons I love the recorder. It's so flexible. When you play the same note with a different fingering, it changes a few things. It changes the colour of the note. It slightly changes the pitch of the note. If you make the note very slightly higher, you can blow very slightly less. And the other way around, if you make the note a bit lower, you can blow a little bit more. This is giving you the freedom to play with dynamics. And lastly, alternative fingerings can be used as a cheat in a difficult trill. For the trill information, you can look at my video on trills. A couple of things about the physics of the recorder. We have so-called open fingerings and forked fingerings. Open fingerings are quite simple. It's when you have holes covered and the rest open, and they are going to sound very strong and stable. Then you have forked fingerings. This is when you may have a hole closed, then one open, then closed, then open, open, close, close. This mixture of open and close makes it a bit less stable, it changes the colour, it makes it more of a subtle sound. So today we're going to look at alternative fingerings, how you can find them and how you can practice them and use them in your music. We're mainly going to approach the alternatives today in terms of loud and soft, blowing harder or softer. How to make an alternative fingering for a note so you can play it louder. If you start with a note, put down some extra fingers, that will make it lower. The lower you have made your note, the more you have to blow to get it back in tune with the original pitch. Okay, of course there is a limit to each one. So the basic principle for making a loud alternative fingering for a note is play the original note and add some fingers. Now, you're not going to add the next finger because that's going to propel it straight away to the next note. But try adding fingers lower down the instrument. Sometimes adding a whole finger might be too much, so you can also shade it. I'm not putting my whole finger over the hole, but I'm just kind of shading it halfway. What about if you're playing a note down here? For example, if you're playing the G on an alto recorder, you only have your pinky finger to play with. Or so we think. Don't forget the hole at the end of your recorder. You can use this hole to shade with your knee. That's going to lower the pitch, which means you can blow a bit harder. As you can hear, it takes some practice to get the right mixture of the breath pressure with the fingering, especially on those low notes. If you blow a bit too hard, then you'll break the note, it will jump to the next harmonic. How to make soft alternative fingerings. The basic principle is this. Take the note a semitone above and add some fingers. In the end, you're going to end up a quarter tone higher than the note you wish to play. So if we take the normal E, we're going to take a semitone above, so that's the F, and then add a finger. Oh. There we have it, an alternative fingering for E. We could choose to make it more extreme. So we have our F, and instead of adding the next finger, we're going to skip it and add this finger. Okay, it's too high, so let's add another. Still a bit high. I'm gonna add, let's just add one of these little holes. That's nice. So now we have normal, soft, very soft. Could we make an even softer one? We're gonna go to the F sharp and try adding some fingers. So try it out for yourself. Go a semitone up, add some fingers and use your ear to play around until you can make the same note. It goes without saying that you should really be supporting your breathing at this point. It will completely spoil the effect if you play a beautifully placed alternative, but like this. Support everything and imagine that you don't have all the time to sit down and work out all the alternative fingerings for yourself. That's fine, because two people have actually written books about this. We have the Modern Recorder Player Volume 3 by Walter von Hauwe, and he lists a lot of alternative fingerings. As you can see, just for the note E, he has listed all of these different fingerings, from extremely quiet to very loud. And he's notated the fingers with numbers, and I'm going to explain those in a minute. Then we also have the Sweet and Sour Recorder, Il flauto dolce et acerbo by Michael Vetter. And this is also an amazingly huge book full of fingerings. Every fingering for every colour and timbre of every note you could wish for on the alto recorder. That is one thing. These fingerings work for the alto. They might be slightly different for the tenor, for the bass, for larger or smaller recorders, and they will probably differ even from recorder to recorder. So don't forget to use your ears and always test them out first before playing them in a concert. But anyway, here he gives the normal notes, and for each note he basically gives a list of all the possibilities. One word about the notation of these, because they are different in each book. The way that Michael Vetter has notated the fingerings is that your thumb is number 1, and then the other fingers are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Walter von Hauwe uses a different system, and this is actually the system that I use. He puts the thumb as 0, and then the other fingers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Number 8 is the hole at the end, and if he wants a hole to be half closed, he draws a line like a strike through the number. And that's actually the system I use. I find it's really helpful to have the thumb counted separately, then you can easily count 1, 2, 3. Because I am a nice person, I am now just going to list some of the most common alternative fingerings for you. But of course, if you want to know more, please support the recorder and support the artists who made these books. I'll put the links in the description. So are you ready for a recorder party? We are gonna hear every note, first normally and then as an alternative, maybe 1 or 2, I haven't decided yet. That was 2 octaves with an alternative for every note. I think that's enough for now. Okay, how do we practice this? The first thing is to take your regular note and your alternative note and alternate them, making sure that they are the exact same pitch. You can do this in different rhythms. It's actually quite hard. You could even challenge yourself by having the normal fingering, the soft fingering, and the loud fingering. My practicing exercise is this. You play and you can set on any note. It should just be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2, 1. The first time you're going to replace the number 1 with an alternative. Replace number 2. Three. 4. 5. And as you're doing this, try and build the alternative into the music so it also sounds musical and logical, not like I was playing da 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 da, because this is a danger with alternatives. When you use them in the music, especially in Baroque music, what you don't want is la 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 la. They have a very definite different colour and you don't want them to sound really odd. When you're making a soft fingering, the idea is that it's soft, it's less noticeable, it's dying away. But if you have this really weird change of colour, it can actually make it a lot more noticeable. Exercise 3, we're gonna imagine we have a cadence of 3, 2, 1. Imagining it's a beautiful piece of music and the 3, 2, the 1 is going to be our alternative. You can also build a trill in and try it in lots of different keys, starting on lots of different notes. And let's look at where we can use it in music. A couple of examples I like. One is in the Telemann methodical sonatas, which are brilliant. My personal favourite is Sonata 7 in D minor. But we have this really nice, excuse this addition and excuse my writing all over it, but we have this great bit that's like dum ba dum dum ba dum dum. And if you're a violin player, of course you can go, as is my understanding of how violins work, but we could apply alternatives here. Was an example of where you try and use an alternative at the end and it's so outlandishly different from the rest that it becomes a bit distracting. So there's a lesson learnt from me. Of course, alternative fingerings are used a lot in contemporary music, and specifically to get that fantastic change of colour. We have a lot of pieces that do things like. A great example is a piece by Peter Hannan, who is a Canadian composer, and he has made a fantastic piece called, I've heard it called RSRCH, and I've also heard it called Dream. We have 3 types of notes: the standard fingering, the alternative fingering, and a multiphonic sound. There's a great recording of this piece at the link that I'm going to put in the description. So I think that's all of the information that I want to give you on alternative fingerings Right now, if you have questions or tips, experiences or comments, please leave them down below in the comments section. If you would like to subscribe to Team Recorder, please do so by clicking the sheet music of Peter Hannan's piece Research Dream. Thank you for watching and have a great day. See you next week. Bye!